When I first started my website, my YouTube channel, my social media for Crit Hit the Giant about a year and a half ago, I really had no idea of vision what I was doing with this. At the time, all I knew was that I was getting into Critical Role, and they inspired me to get into Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop role-playing games, and I just had no idea what I was going to do with all this. I just knew that I wanted to share my experience and journey with everybody. And that was 2023. Now it's 2025, and I still have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm doing all this as kind of a fun hobby. I have a full-time job, and so I don't have the luxury of turning this, whatever this is, into a paid gig or anything like that to focus on this full-time. I use the little time I have outside of my family, outside of work, outside of playing tabletop role-playing games to create videos and share all my excitement and thoughts and ideas I have with you all. And like many of you, last year was kind of a tough year for me. Over the summer, I got into a car accident, which thankfully no one was seriously hurt, but we had to get a brand new car that we weren't planning on before. And then at my place that I work at, I found out that we had to let a lot of people go. And thankfully, I didn't lose my job, but all the people that was in my small immediate team, they were let go. And so that was very devastating. And honestly, with the upcoming 2025 year, who knows if my job is still safe? So I still have a lot of anxiety over that. The same day I found out about that was also the same day that I found out that a really good friend of mine from college died of a heart attack suddenly. So that was a really tough day for me. Last week, we also buried my dog that we've had of 16 years. So she had a great long life, but it's still a really hard experience to go through when you lose a member of the family. So 2024 was a really difficult year. But there was also a lot of good things that came from that as well, too. For example, I got to go to Gen Con as a member of the press, and I was invited to the official Dungeons & Dragons press event where I got to learn a lot about all the upcoming updates that they're going to be releasing and some of the new projects that they're working on. I also got to interview a lot of people and companies about their games and what to expect from them in the future. I also got alpha access to the new 3D virtual tabletop from Dungeons & Dragons Project Sigil. I finished my first D&D campaign that I've ever completed as a Dungeons & Dragons player, and although it was a bittersweet moment for me, it was a lot of fun, and we're playing a new campaign, and we're having just as much fun doing that one. I remember at the beginning of 2024, I told somebody that I had no interest in being a dungeon master or game master because I just wasn't very confident in my own skills, and I felt like that was going to be a stressful experience trying to become a dungeon master. Well, a few months later, I ended up being a dungeon master out of necessity because I wanted to make sure that my kid, who is also getting into Dungeons & Dragons, got to play in a game weekly. And so I started running a game for them and for some other kids at a local gaming store. We've been doing that since April or May. I've been running a game for my friends who have also said they've always wanted to play Dungeons & Dragons but never had the opportunity. And now I'm running a game on StartPlaying.games for other people who've been wanting to play as well too. So now I'm running 3-4 different kinds of tabletop role-playing games as a game master now. My kid also loves running a one-on-one D&D game between me and them, so we'll do a lot of impromptu game sessions where they will run a game for me and I'll play, or vice versa, where I'll be their dungeon master and kind of go through some sort of spontaneous adventure that we just come up with on the spot. I also got to celebrate my 40th birthday by going to D&D in a castle and played in an awesome campaign and made some great friends there. And this is by far one of the best and greatest experiences I've ever had that I encourage everyone to try it out sometime. Even though it is expensive, I guarantee you it's definitely worth the cost because they do a phenomenal job of making this a great experience for all those who attend. And there's probably a lot more that I'm forgetting as well too. I just have a terrible memory. So going into 2025, I still can't say I know what I'm doing with any of this. I don't have a vision for the website, the YouTube channel, my social medias, anything like that. But I can tell you, here are some things I'm hoping to do in 2025. I want to do video interviews with people, businesses, and organizations that's in the tabletop role-playing game space. I'm thinking about creating a podcast about Baldur's Gate 3 and talking about its connection with Forgotten Realms. I'm hoping that I can join an actual play group. I'm finally going to read all my TTRPG books that I've collected over the past year. Let's be honest, that's not going to happen, but I'm going to attempt it. I'm going to try to go to more gaming conventions like Origins and PAX U. I'm going to try to run a Daggerheart and Candela Obscura game. And I also want to make a barbarian character for each official subclass that exists. So even though I don't know what I'm doing with all this, that's not going to stop me from doing anything. So if you've been following me for a while, I just want to say thank you for all the support that you've given me over the last year and a half. And I hope I'm supporting you in some way as well too, from following this channel or from the interactions that we've had. And if there's anything that you want me to cover or talk about with the website or with the YouTube channel or anything like that, please let me know. I'm always love hearing from you all, and I love to try to help guide you through this adventure and help in any way that I can. So here's to 2025. Here's to a new journey. Let's have the new adventure begin.